New in the last 5 minutes daily market update Thursday, May 31st. Business Group, very concerned that Trump's tariffs will harm Arizonans AutoNews Now, U.S. Pulls trigger on steel, aluminum tariffs. Canada hits back at U.S. With threat of $12.8 billion in tariffs in the last 10 minutes. Oil industry fears toll of Trump's steel, aluminum tariffs. U.S. allies vow to retaliate over Trump's metal tariffs. U.S. stocks. Wall Street slips as U.S. tariffs spark trade war worries in the last 15 minutes. Stocks sink as Canada, Mexico retaliate on tariffs. France, Germany support EU decision to respond to U.S. trade tariffs. Trudeau says retaliation against U.S. necessary. Trudeau, Canada not U.S. security threat. U.S. allies pledge to retaliate against new tariffs. Audio. In the last half hour, Canada to impose tariffs on U.S. challenge at WTO. Trudeau, Canada is U.S. security threat. Inconceivable. Congressional Republicans lining up against Trump on trade. U.S. defense sector braces for Trump tariff fallout. Trump's tariffs. Heightened tensions ahead of G7 summit. U.S. impose new trade tariffs. EU, Mexico pledge to retaliate. Europe responds swiftly to U.S. tariffs. Threatens retaliation. How Trump's brewing trade war affects companies. Dow and S. Tariffs aims at Trump country. Trump is standing on the precipice of a real and serious trade war. Bank of Canada's Leduc, too early to tell. U.S. tariff impact. Trump's latest steel tariffs to hit Mexico, Canada and EU in the last hour. Trudeau to Trump, tariffs are unacceptable. PIMCO's Cantrell says tariffs are a poke in the eye to Germany. Former Canada PM Martin says U.S. facing massive debt. Macron calls U.S. tariffs an illegal decision. Consistent inconsistency crippling Trump's China trade ambitions. EU, other allies hit back as Trump revokes steel tariff reprieve. Tit for tat, as Canada hits back against Trump tariffs. U.S. allies to hit back over metals tariffs. Stocks skid as U.S. imposes tariffs and allies retaliate. Trump's trade war would be very bad for many Americans. U.S. raises steel and aluminium tariffs on key allies. Video, U.S. trade tariffs provide investment opportunities in steel stocks. Canada, Europe getting slapped with steel tariffs. U.S. hits allies with tariffs as risk of trade war rises. Canada, U.S. steel trade war bad for exporters and consumers. Trump's tariffs will hurt U.S. consumers, say aluminum and steel users. Donald Trump threatens to push German luxury cars out of the U.S. Trump slaps steel tariffs on closest allies as trade tensions rise. UK labels U.S. metal tariffs absurd. Japanese PM, we cannot accept U.S. auto tariffs. Mexico and Canada reject U.S. taxes imposed by the U.S. in the last 2 hours. How U.S. steel tariffs impact German automakers. U.S. 2s -10s falls to flattest since 2007. EU to open WTO case against U.S. tariffs. U.S. imposing steel and aluminium tariffs on Canada, Mexico. Ross says Trump pulls the tariff trigger. Other countries retaliate. Europe threatens tariffs on $7.5 billion of U.S. goods. Trade war looms. Ost avoids Trump tariffs. Canada to retaliate against U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs. Canada to retaliate against U.S. steel and aluminium tariffs. U.S. allies hit back as Trump revokes steel tariff reprieve. Canada, EU retaliate against U.S. tariffs as trade war looms. Canada fights back against U.S. tariffs. Steel, aluminum tariffs seen hurting U.S. economy. Moody's Canada's Trudeau calls U.S. steel tariffs unacceptable. Your USD analysis. Geopolitical tensions retook center stage ahead of NFP. Video. Liam Fox describes U.S. steel tariff imposition as patently absurd. U.S. moves closer to risky trade war without a clear endgame. Stand up to Trump on steel. Sheffield MP tells Theresa May bad day for trade as U.S. slaps tariffs on EU. Last time on steel tariffs. Feds quarrels on Trump's new tariffs and interest rates. EU ambassador, this looks more like a trade skirmish than a trade war. Canadian PM Justin Trudeau, White House has made a decision. We deplore steel, aluminium tariffs seen hurting U.S. Economy, Moody's Carney says U.S. trade focus should be on services. Trump's tariffs at work. Solar company plans new factory in Georgia. U.S. stocks hit new lows as Canada fires back in trade war. Britain's Carney says U.S. trade focus should be on services. U.S. under fire for slapping tariffs on EU steel. Canadian PM on tariffs. We hope common sense will triumph. Why the $375 billion U.S.-China trade deficit can be totally misleading.